no deaths. That's not plans for a FUMO. Not yet. If there's a FUMO, then I'll let all of Twitter know. Hold on, one more minute. I was genuinely just about to flip the screen, and then I remembered I don't know what happened to the 10K reward artwork. I'm just gonna check in real quick. Hello. Good morning, Chiron. So. What happened, Katya? It's been 2 days. 2 days that you were supposed to be here. And I hate to inform you that if I had been here the last 2 days, you would have heard retching and vomiting. So, I have saved you the anguish. Now, let me get the pleasantries out of the way, and then I'm going to get into why I hate. I hope you guys in America, tayo, hello, had an excellent Thanksgiving. I heard that was going on yesterday? Not entirely sure. It was either yesterday or the day before. I don't celebrate that particular one. That's not an Earth holiday I'm really into. I've also heard that Thanksgiving is celebrated at different times of the year in different places, so that makes it a very irritating holiday to keep track of. Okay, shotgun. Oh, I sound crazy. Hold on. Sorry, I had the TTS sound turned off, so you guys probably thought I was batshit. The TTS went. Okay, sorry, I just gotta get back into the swing of things. I do love swing. I'm stuffed and have tons of incredible leftovers. Okay. So, you know, today's topic is a very interesting one to me because I've had to recently deal with some people that have the particular issues that are in the stream title. I truly think some of the most self-destructive and outwardly destructive people to exist are people with inferiority and superiority complexes. They're honestly the same root issue, but expressed differently, I think. And they both come from a baseline insecurity of genuine inferiority. I love to swing. Yeah, I love to... I would play my favorite swing song on stream. Like, I do have a genuine favorite swing song, but then I'd get copyright claimed. I was trying to use it in content. Like, I pre-uploaded something to check to see if it would work, and it got striked, and it got, like, neutered in every single country, so I can't play it, which sucks, because it's a song from the goddamn 20s. What do you mean a song from the 20s gets... You know what? I digress. It's called Sing, Sing, Sing. It's one of those, like, goofy ones that everybody's heard at least once if they watch Tower of Terror. Shouldn't that be public domain by now? Yes, but here's the thing about that. Public domain is a very tricky business because people don't like losing money. So there is things that go into... Hold on. We can go into public domain talk later, okay? Because I could go on quite a while about my frustrations with public domain and why it's entirely Disney's fault that the film, the novel, and the music industry baseline everything in modernity. It's Disney's fault. It's Disney's fault, and we'll get into it. But that's not today's topic. We got to start with today's topic at the very least. Before we do that, though, did you guys know that on YouTube, if YouTube detects, like, it sends a bot scanner, like, every so often to scrub VODs very quickly while you're live, and if that bot detects copyrighted music, then it takes down your stream when you're live? I discovered that. I discovered that entirely the way you would assume I would have discovered that. All right. Inferiority complexes. Why don't we grab the actual legal definition of inferiority complex? Just so we have a baseline for our discussion. It is an unrealistic feeling of general inadequacy caused by an actual or supposed inferiority in one sphere, sometimes marked by aggressive behavior in competition. And let's do superiority complex. An attitude of superiority which conceals actual feelings of inferiority and failure. Morning, boss. Morning, Chili. Welcome on in. So, what do we do with those? In short, underdogs times 10. when you have an inferiority complex, it typically manifests in self-destructive ways.
Good afternoon. Gonna lurk this stream. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, Nix. Have a nice lurk. And you have a nice weekend, too. Don't overstuff yourself on Thanksgiving leftovers. So which one is Katya? Oh, shut up, you. Everyone's a comedian. Huh? Hello, hello. Hello, hipster. Now, typically people with these complexes are frustrating to work with, and I know that everybody has dealt with at least one or two in their own lives, or even, struggled with tendencies for these complexes. But it's inherently like a very selfish kind of mindset these people have. People with inferiority complexes are constantly, putting themselves down, believing themselves lesser than, and purposefully underperforming because they feel like it's not worth putting in the effort to try and achieve things. And it makes for very frustrating situations in a workplace. Quite often, people who have inferiority complexes end up being the ones that cause the most issues and end up being fired. They allow themselves to get walked all over by more aggressive coworkers. They allow themselves to be bullied by upper management, and they also bully themselves. And it's totally counterproductive. People with superiority complexes are like people that are like the evil version of inferiority complexes. Because instead of it, making it their own problem, they make it everyone else's problem. They overcorrect because of their feelings of inferiority. If they aren't making other people miserable, then they haven't done what they feel like will fulfill them. This is inspired by that post that Elfin commented on. I'm not entirely sure what post you're talking about. Elfin talks a lot. Like, I don't... She's a dirty elf. I don't pay attention to what she does. No. People, like, a lot of people in the VTuber space, like, small, small, let's take VTubing for example. Small VTubers, tiny VTubers, a lot of times suffer from inferiority complexes. Not all of them, but a lot of them do, and that often actually self-sabotages and hinders their growth. And sometimes they aren't even entirely acutely aware why. But people can feel when somebody has an inferiority complex, and they're inherently put off by it. Some people see it as charming girl failure behavior, or boy failure behavior, but again, more often than not, it just comes across as grating and irritating if it's not self-aware. Hello, pot calling the kettle black. Excuse me. There's a difference between a self-destructive inferiority complex, openly destructive superiority complex, and somebody that feels inferior or superior but actively working against their base instincts, okay? Like, I know that I'm superior, alright? But instead of making it people's problem, I use my superiority to my advantage to make things better for myself and those underneath me. Yes.
Boss criticizing inferiority complexes is fueling my inferiority complex. Hell yeah, I think instead of doing laundry I'm gonna stay in bed all day. Cool face emoji.
Oh, okay. Where's Feed at 10K? I literally just poked management. I haven't gotten any update. I literally have like the sketch right here of the artwork. The last update I got was the 12th. I genuinely should have the finished thing like any day, unless the artist had an issue. So the pinup pose that you guys want will be on Twitter when it's ready. Yeah. People who are always down on themselves as mentally. VTuber and X complained about feeling like they weren't seeing success, and Elfin gave them a substantiative, if somewhat insensitive critique based on the VTuber's content. VTubers dislike that. Okay, I did see that one. And you know what? You know what I want to say about that in particular? I would say that Elfin gave a male response to a female question. And that's why people freaked out. As well, I mean, she has, like, a reputation. But, like, what I mean by that is that she actually gave, like, a proper critique and a solution when the person who was asking the question wasn't looking for a solution. They were looking for sympathy. Which is the difference often between a masculine and a feminine mindset. A lot of heavily autistic women have very masculine mindsets, and they're very pragmatic, and they have a lot of, like, actual well, how do I word it? Solution-based answers. And unless, like, the words explicitly in the question are, I would like emotional support here, more often than not, autistic women or regular men will give actual solutions instead of emotional benefits. And that often can come off as insensitive or cold to somebody who wasn't expecting or wanting that. Insensitive. Elfin's critique was professional, not insensitive. Well, I mean, I actually do agree with that, but it was quote-unquote insensitive in the context of the expected answer. In a professional space, actually, what she did was great. I personally would have, taken something like that, and I would have, I would have taken notes, because people pay for critiques like that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But no, people with superiority complexes, as opposed to people that are just genuinely superior, there is a difference. People who are genuinely superior typically wield their power in responsible ways, or at the very least in productive ways, and that is what makes them superior. Nobody's born inherently superior. Like, maybe people are born with advantages, maybe they're born physically able, maybe they're born without brain dents, but somebody can be born, entirely, holistically, and still be an inferior person entirely depending on their upbringing and how they decide to live their life and how they develop emotionally. Superior people often don't make things others' problems, they solve problems. And they often end up in positions of, power. Now, superior people aren't always good people, but the fact of the matter is that it takes to be a superior person to be in those positions. Now, people with superiority complexes are people that like to LARP as functional superior people, and will beg, borrow, and steal, cut some throats to try and get to a position that they have not earned. They are the people that claim superiority as opposed to earning it. And those people are often the most problematic. I say that in, a genuine use of the term, and not in the quirky Chungus Tumblr, oh, everything is problematic, that ship is problematic, the clothing you're wearing is problematic. No, I mean that, genuinely, it raises real world problems when somebody with a superiority complex is vying for power. Because often, aside from their massive ego, they can actually quite successfully, for a period of time until, things crumble around them, climb and match their genuine superiors. However, unlike a true superior person, people with superior complexes often can't hold on to the illusion forever, because at the end of the day, they do have those deep set insecurities that will need to be fed like monsters. And the only way that they can keep feeding their ego and soothing themselves and reassuring themselves of their place in the world is to trample on others. And you know what? When you leave enough bodies in your wake, people start to notice, and eventually you get dethroned. So they're egotistical and narcissistic, absolutely. I would like to claim, with no scientific backing and no evidence, but pure instinctual personal opinion, that people with superiority complexes are people with inferiority complexes, with gargantuan egos, and some psychopathic tendencies. A good leader never wants to be the leader. I would say that's nuanced. I'd say a good leader typically isn't trying to shoot for a leadership position, but ends there organically, regardless of whether or not they actually want to be a leader. Because you know what? There are some great leaders out there that did want to become leaders, and they put their heart, soul, and energy into it, but they weren't so egotistical and maniacal enough that they would destroy others' opportunities to get to that position fairly. That said, that kind of person is far and few between, and more often the better leadership are the responsible ones that were placed there by their peers. Responsible peers. I will say corrupt leadership will try to place other corrupt leadership into positions of power, but that's beyond the scope of this conversation. Why psychopathic and not sociopathic? Because I mix up those two all the time. I know that there's a difference, but I default to saying one when I usually mean the other. A good leader has a cool spinning hat. There we go. You know exactly what you need to say. You see, chat, that is how you reduce your debt. That right there, talking Taco has reduced his debt by at least 2% by saying based shit like that. Oh, nah, based words like that. By being based. Another good thing about good leaders is their ability to sniff out defective people detrimental to managerial structure. Oh yeah. Good leaders cut out corruption and rot. Psychopath, calculated antipathy. Sociopath, impulsive antipathy. Yeah, I would say psychopath is the right word then. Although I guess they could be both. Are those the alkalites? We got a Memoria raid? Hi. Hi. Ah, it's an owl attack. Quick, my rats. Mambo, protect me from these foul owls. Wait, where are you going? What are you doing up there? Oh, and he's coming from the corner with a chair! Sorry. And there's Mambo with the steel chair! Yeah. Hi, Katya. Hi, Justin. Yeah, no. But yeah, no, people with superiority complexes, again, they also have infiltrated the VTuber scene. And you see it time and time again. Whenever a massive creator gets into a scandal and you find out they have 1 billion skeletons in their closet, that's because, well, again, the illusion of their genuine superiority was shattered, and it has been brought to light that they have a superiority complex. Can Mambo even afford a chair? No, Mambo's just borrowing one from the office. Morning, Katya-sama. Morning, Anima. Hope your Thanksgiving was fulfilling. I don't celebrate American Thanksgiving, but I hope that you ate as much American food as possible. Some people don't seem to gain the superiority complex until later. Sometimes it's about not letting the pride get to your head. True. I mean, once you hit 10k subs, the first skeleton appears. Honestly, doesn't have to if you just don't have one. America Day. There are some genuinely very good people in this industry, even in the upper echelons. I'm going to say this with my full chest. I didn't always believe that was the case. I genuinely thought that... Oh. Thank you for becoming a sub, Archangel, and thank you for gifting Shadowstar membership. No, I was under the impression that VTubing was kind of always going to be a very everybody is fighting each other kind of industry, because it always from the outside looking in felt like it comes back to Hollywood. Everything is Hollywood, but it felt like, you know, watching Hollywood, watching people, actors fighting for positions, musicians fighting each other for gigs and sabotaging each other. And you know what? That does exist. That is just how the entertainment industry will always work. But in the VTubing space, I found that more often than not, a lot of the bigger creatives, maybe, you know, later on in their career they become more jaded and cutthroat, but at least to get to the positions they're in, you actually have to be kind of a genuine person, or put off the airs of being a genuine person. You have to put in the effort. You just have to make the good content. You have to be somebody worth sticking around for. In front of the camera, sure, but also behind the scenes. And I don't know, that's stuck with me a little bit. That's given me quite a bit of hope in, you know, quite darkened times in this industry. Every time I see another company collapse, or I see a large VTuber crumble, I still can sleep comfortably at night knowing that for every bad one, there is actually a good equivalent, because I've seen it. Like, I can provably point to examples. Hopping off. Take care. Have a great stream. Oh my god, the frog is hopping off. Wait, is it racist to talk about the frog hopping off? Is that a stereotype? I'll double down on it. Anyway. The art of bringing it back for a moment. Speciest. Only if they're French. Ah. Is Hopper a slur against frogs? I'm gonna start calling every French person I know a Hopper and see if they can figure it out. I'm late. Asawi. Hello, Toisoku. All right. Tone it down, class. Keep it classy. The only thing that you're allowed to say with the hard R is Clipper, because we hate Clippers in this chat. I don't care how helpful they are to the ecosystem. I will shoot every Clipper on sight. Yeah. I'm just wondering, why do you hate clippers? Oh, genuinely? Just for the sport. I'm never gonna tell a clipper to take clips down. I'm never gonna stop them. I'm never gonna strike them. I'm never going to actively fight a clipper. But if I see a clipper in chat, I just enjoy, I just enjoy killing them. I hate for the sport. I don't have any real reason to hate them. I just hate. Now, because you asked such a stupid question, I'm killing you too. Anyway. Thank you, boss. Yeah, no, don't think that I don't see you in there, Happy Feet. You filthy clipper. Alright. Can this hate be taught? No, it's a hate that is born. It is deep set. It is integral to one's being. Thank you, Miss Katya. May I have another one? What? You hate for the love of the game. Oh yeah, no, it's my favorite extreme sport.
Another toon bites the dust.
Another one bites the dust. Girl, I came here for the first time. Is this normal? Adority, how dare you? How dare you question my hatred? You're dead too. Okay. We've satisfied my bloodlust for at least 5 minutes. Now. We've discussed the inferiority complex, the superiority complex, and now I'm going to hard pivot because I want to go back to circling back to talking about copyright and fair use and all that. So, I don't have like the exact dates and times and places here in front of me. This is all from the top of my head, but this is painful note. Does this mean that we can trash talk you for 5 minutes and excuse me? Now. Things used to go into public domain after 20 years, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that. After the owner died. After an owner of something died, their work would go into public domain after about 20 years. And so after that, people could make, remixes or adjustments to whatever the media was. Now, it was that way for a very long time. A very long time. And it only started changing when Disney started lobbying successfully. I mean, there was other companies that tried to, poke American courts and be like, hey, no, we want to keep this for longer. We want to keep this in the family. We're still making money off this, even though the guy's deceased. Like, come on, can you just push it a little bit? Nothing really worked until Disney, with its big fat stack of cash, strolled on up and it's like, hey, we're about to lose Mickey Mouse. Can you just cut us a deal? Just for a little while longer. And so the courts went, okay, 35 years. 35 years is the new one. 35 years came. Disney went, hey, so we're about to lose Mickey Mouse again. Push it a little longer. Anyway, Disney keeps doing that, and it hit about 75 years now. I'm pretty sure that public domain is 75 currently. And then Disney was about to lose Mickey Mouse again. And then they made rules about derivatives. So now Disney gets to keep Mickey Mouse perpetually as long as they keep, doing slight tweaks to his design. They can keep the branding. Now, what is the greater impact on all industries worldwide because of this? Because of one silly little American company? Well, other places around the world were looking at this and they were like, oh, snap. We can keep, making money off of properties. Look at what America's doing. And they also started to up the limit. Now, no place except for America has upped the limit nearly as much, but it's still devastating to creatives, especially since the American market is so huge for entertainment. It's kind of the standard. It's 95 now? I'm gonna kill myself. Wait, one single tweak to a design means now you can renew the ownership of a property for eternity? Well, that in quote-unquote version of the property. Like, black and white Mickey Mouse last year finally hit public domain after all the pushing. And so you can make stuff with the black and white Mickey Mouse design and call him Mickey Mouse. But you can't do it with color Mickey Mouse. Copyright term of the author's life plus 70 years. Works made for hire or anonymous works are protected for 95 years from publication and 120 years from creation, whichever is shorter. Yeah. Now, this reflected in the music industry as well. Basically, all industries looked at what was going on there, and they went, oh, we're just gonna, we're gonna go along with it. It's instead of just, basically, what it means is that people have found loopholes to forever have copyright. So even songs from the 20s, even though it's been literally 100 years, can still be copyrighted because now a company somewhere, even though there's no family relation to the people that initially created it, has legal ownership, and they've got legal ownership of it for another 50 years or some sort. It's incredibly frustrating and damaging because the way that public domain was intended to be used was to, allow for new ideas to allow, to be created, allow remixes, well, it's why Disney existed in the first place. They took public domain works and they made versions of it themselves. But they spat in the face of the legacy and the spirit of the thing by then having permanent ownership over those baseline ideas that they stole in the first place. Sing 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 is 1936, not the 20s. You know what? Yeah, fair enough, but my point still stands. Almost 100 years. And this is how you get companies copywriting summoning mechanics. Oh, 100%. Like, you've got Nintendo going, hey, Animal in Ball is ours forever now. And if you try to put Animal in Ball, we're going to bend you over and give you an anal prolapse via our lawyers. And then Japanese and American governments look at Nintendo and they go, you know what? That sounds delightful. Absolutely. Now, currently, it's a losing battle for them, but it's not going to remain that way forever. Nintendo shenanigans are patents, not copyrights. Okay, there is a significant difference between the two, but they are intrinsically tied. They operate functionally not the same, but kind of the same. I'm not a big fan of the government. I'm the big fan of the Empress Regent here in Chiron, because she doesn't allow this kind of garbage. But you guys on Earth have it so difficult right now. I'm gonna be so real. I don't know what 30 on 30 means. I read somewhere that means right to resist something, but I'm not sure how real that is. 6-7 on 6-7. 6-7. Because of Warner Brothers, we can't have games where enemies come back and remember you, otherwise known as the Nemesis mechanic. No. Oh my god. The gaming industry is this is why games are genuinely unplayable now. Every mechanic is poisoned by people that just want to keep it locked up in a vault or tied to one or two games that may or may not be actually good. Like, oh my god. They patented it for a Wonder Woman game that got canceled. Oh my god. Wonder Woman has always been bad in every single iteration. I don't care. I don't care what people say. Wonder Woman has always been a bad idea. I don't care if people found tall, strong woman with a whip sexy. It's always been an irritating idea to me. Always been frustrating. And that just, makes me double down on why I hate her.
Damn it, woman. Must you stream when I'm with the fam? You know I can't be seen with you in polite company.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Jeffrey Epstein. I didn't mean to interrupt your special island getaway. I hope you can forgive me. Even absolute Wonder Woman? You mean absolute dog shit? Yeah, absolute dog shit. I will take 2 coins in the swear jar to be anti-Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman only ever existed to be a sanitized portrayal of the creator's various fetishes. She-Hulk and Wonder Woman are the creator's barely disguised fetish. Why gender bend and politicize currently existing superheroes when you could just make equivalencies that are thematically different? Genuinely. What's worse, Wonder Woman or Harley Quinn? Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is worse because Wonder Woman, as much as I don't like her, is exactly what you're getting on the label. She's irritating from the get-go, so you're not, being tricked into liking her first and then being fed propaganda. Harley Quinn started off as a genuine, strong woman. True, to an ideal of a first wave feminist idea of a strong woman, maybe even a second wave, so to speak. She was a normal human being with flaws and benefits that wasn't a flanderized stereotype. But then it was strangely co-opted by social movements that wanted to make her both a sex symbol, but also vehemently vocal about policy. And you know what? If you want a character that's vocal about policy, that's fine. But if you're going to take a character that was nuanced and fascinating and strip away everything that made the character fun and interesting and dynamic in place of your commentary, you're going to get people upset. If you really wanted to make that commentary, you should use your Wonder Woman, right? Because that's what you built the character for. But that's the issue. Wonder Woman is irritating and nobody likes her, so nobody's gonna listen to your commentary. So you gotta take a character that is already beloved so that you can actually force the commentary in front of the people you want to see it, right? Because they trust a character they like already. Just give me a break. Okay, I wouldn't call her normal exactly, Lama. Okay. OG Harley Quinn was more normal, so to speak. She was balanced, right? Clearly mentally ill, like all of Batman's villains. Clearly, tragic. She had horrendous stuff. She was traumatized. She had depth. But that wasn't who she was, right? That wasn't the only thing about her. She was very wise. She was very witty. She could do things independently while also, having complex storylines that did or didn't involve the Joker. But at the end of the day, she wasn't villainized for, liking a guy. She was villainized for, doing bad stuff. She was genuinely a well-rounded, fascinating character. And she had realistic expectations and disappointments and reactions to abuse. Whereas modern Harley Quinn is boss babe extraordinaire. I don't need no man. I beat up the Joker every day because I'm a strong, independent woman. And, like, anytime any abuse subplots get brought up with modern Harley Quinn, it's not a delicate, you know, looking at what an actual abuse victim goes through. It's this strange sexual fetishization of her abuse and having other women rescue her. Like, no, if you wanted a feminist power fantasy, OG Harley Quinn was perfect for it. The new stuff just makes people angry.
Damn it, boss, you shot a clipper, and electricity in my toon cave fucking died. Please stop shooting through power cables under the floorboards, they are pain in the mambo to replace.
A pain in the mambo, eh? The Harley Quinn show is so bad. The character died with a fart fetish comic. Yeah, just, no, I don't even want to talk about that. But yes, Harley Quinn is worse than Wonder Woman because Harley Quinn used to be good. DC, okay. Context. I used to be a superhero fan for a brief period of time. And when I was a DC fan exclusively. I never, ever liked Marvel. Not because I felt like I was superior for liking DC over Marvel. Just the actual content felt more well-written and organic. And the characters were just more enticing to me. Marvel never really had any, except maybe a little bit of Spider-Man that I liked. But DC, I stopped liking it after it kind of dived headfirst into modernity, so to speak. It was trying to become Marvel instead of remaining what it already was, I think is the best way to put it. Fan of which fan of DC? Batman, Daredevil, Superman? Some people hate Superman because he's OP. I think that he's kind of quirky. I think Superman is alright. I like the idea of Daredevil, but I only really consumed a few comics. I was mostly a Batman fan. I am an OG, like, old school Batman fan. And my enjoyment for Batman media stops at around 2006. 2006, 2007, after that point, Batman fell off hardcore. The only Batman media I really like after that point are the Arkham games. And that's because it's got the sexiest Joker design in all of the Batman-verse, but I digress. I'm a big fan of Court of Owls and White Knight. I'm torn on White Knight, I will say. I'm torn on White Knight because it suffers from a lot of modern DC's fumbles. But the idea of Joker running for office is really, really funny. The idea of Joker going to prison and actually being properly reformed and then running for office is really funny for me. I still can't get behind like 80% of it, but the idea is funny. Anyway. You know what I also liked? I used to love Star Wars. I was specifically a prequels fan. Like a prequels super duper duper fan. I loved the prequels. And I loved how cheesy they were. I liked the world building. I liked the fun ideas. And I also liked the originals. After the Clone Wars cartoon, though, I haven't been able to touch Star Wars media. There was only one, and I repeat, one modern Star Wars idea that I really liked. Like, one thing that was introduced after the prequels, and that was the Kyber crystal bleeding concept. I liked the idea of bleeding Kyber crystals because that added some extra world building, some depth, some fun, interesting, dynamic. stuff to the world of Star Wars. It gave you more insight into Darth Vader's journey and whatnot. So, you know, of course, Disney has to fuck that up too. You know, I can't stand Disney so much, man. Man, Lucasfilms used to have like a game studio too before Disney bought them out, and they made some of the best video games early on. Like, okay, I hate Indiana Jones video games, but like in a rage kind of way. Like, they're my favorite rage games. Like, I hate them so much, but they're so much fun to play, but like I get so angry when I play them. Like, Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, I think it was 2003? Don't quote me on that one. Is so difficult for me. Like, it takes me forever to get past the first tutorial level. Hours and hours of gameplay. But I will say that it is one of the most fun experiences ever. Right? And that was like an OG Lucasfilms video game. After Disney took over and they shut down that particular version of the studio, gaming hasn't been the same. No, gaming hasn't been the same. Disney has an obsession with acquiring media meant for people who have and love testosterone-laden stories, and then replaced the testosterone with estrogen. I'm sure there's a different way you could describe that, but you're right. I don't know, I feel like there's a different way to word that. But the idea there is right.
Remember, lads, it's a moral obligation to hate Disney, rip the expanded universe, forever we will have KOTOR.
God, I love KOTOR. Another Lucasfilms classic. Put a chick in it and make it lame. Oh, okay, Cartman. He ain't wrong, but one could be more specific, basically. I like Lord of the Rings. Now, I would not call myself a super fan of Lord of the Rings. I'm a casual Lord of the Rings fan. But I feel like we're missing a lot of nice new high fantasy like that.
Canon greater than legends. Cope Malden Seeth.
Oh, that's you! Hi! I was just like, who the fuck is Raccoon VTuber? And it's just like, oh, wait, I recognize that PFP. I know that eyeball. Hi, Ringtail. No, I mean, Lord of the Rings, I think Game of Thrones was probably one of the more modern attempts at making something as fantastical as Lord of the Rings. And for a while it worked. I just want to see more Lord of the Rings. I don't want to see a Lord of the Rings like recycled and rehashed. I don't want to see another Lord of the Rings. But my balls are recognizable. Yes. Shut up! Shut up! Kill yourself now. Anyway, I want to see new properties that are as expansive and as well thought out as Lord of the Rings, right? Like, when I say I want to see a new Lord of the Rings, I don't want to see another Bilbo Baggins going on an adventure. I want to see, like, new characters. I want to see new entire worlds and landscapes. I want to see fantastic creatures that didn't exist before that an author came up with, or they took historical creatures and they made them their own, you know? A lot of modern fantasy is based off of Lord of the Rings and its depiction of fantasy creatures. And the depictions in that specific way didn't exist before then. Like, a lot of modern fantasy is entirely ripped from Lord of the Rings. I want to see, in my lifetime, the next influential, large-scale fantasy. I would like that out of my life. Why would you want to see a new franchise? Don't you like familiar thing? Look, I'm jingling. Jingle, jingle, jingle. The backrooms, jingle, jingle, jingle. I grant you fantasy slop. Callow, no! Don't slop me! No! God! Yeah. And actually, it's more from pulp fantasy that predates Tolkien, but Tolkien flavor aesthetics a la D&D. That's semantics. We could go back and forth on that forever. What if Lord of the Rings, but in the back rooms? Jingle, jingle, jingle. You know, backrooms as a concept could be just as interesting and fun to explore if, you know, kind of like SCP Foundation. If they weren't so nebulous, I feel like the baseline ideas and all of the creatures created for those two environments, all of the landscapes, I feel like there could be an interesting story there. Something even generational. But the way that they've been developed and the pre-existing fan bases for them, I think will make that impossible. And at this point, it's so watered down and strange that I don't think anybody would want to see anything out of that. But I feel like something that has that kind of size and potential exists out there to become another Lord of the Rings. Another hero's journey fantastical tale.
Game of Thrones was never going to be finished because it inherently requires a hero and heroic ending in a world defined by griminess and anti-heroism. George's work is a repudiation of Tolkien and it shows, badly.
You know, I've seen a lot of hero's journey movies and novels and whatnot come out recently, but all of them are like female lead trying to do the classic hero's journey. And I don't think that's bad, but I definitely think it's an interesting trend. I can't remember for the life of me the last time I saw like a male-led fantasy where he was just unabashedly a hero outside of children's media. And even then, like, you get the Steven universes where it is, by and large, a very feminist narrative. Nothing wrong with that, but just, like, I think it's interesting. What happened to old-style adventure novel writing, you know? What happened to the Hardy Boys? I don't think we need to remove the ability to make modern stories. I just want to see more old-style stories. I want more access to them. I think that's why I really like manga. Like, that's why I've gravitated towards a lot of Japanese media. Delicious in Dungeon, for example. Like, again, strong female characters, you know, fun narrative arcs, but you've also just got, like, guys being guys. You've got a journey. Free Ren as well. Again, like a strong female lead, but also you've got Himmel the hero being Himmel the hero. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's why I like consuming a lot of Japanese media recently. It feels like more classic styles of storytelling.
Early Conan is going into the public domain soon. Expect to see a lot of that genre in the coming years.
Oh, I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing what people will do creatively. We never dislike strong female characters, we just hate the strong females come at the expense of strong males. I don't even hate when they come at the expense of strong males. I hate when they come at the expense of genuinely well-written stories. I think strong males and strong females don't have to exist in the same space. They can exist in separate spaces if they really want to do that, or they can exist in the same space. But the most important thing at the end of the day is that you're telling a story and that the people are entertained. People don't like being talked down to, don't like being mocked, don't like having their intelligence insulted. And if you do those things, you're going to drive them away and you're going to, tank your franchise, or you're going to create a generation of the most irritating people ever known to humanity.
Are you short and red heart emoji, coconut rum in your past life?
I've only existed once. I don't know what you're talking about. I do love coconut rum, though. Haven't had it in quite a while. And I'm not sick. I'm not sick. I'm not sick. I'm not short. I'm 6'1". You know why? Because this is my ride. This is my ride, and I get to choose. Millennial writing also counts for bad. Millennial writing makes me want to blow my brains out. I'm going to be so honest. It's so petulant.
I wonder if you enjoy certain
preachy.
manga because the characters feel human instead of just caricatures.
I would argue yes and no. There is an appeal to a caricature. It's why people like archetypes. It's why people, gravitate to the yandere or the tsundere, It's being able to look past the caricature and to, delve deeper beyond the baseline character that makes a character engaging. A character at the end of the day will always be a character. But how you explore those tropes is what makes them fun. I think a lot of issues with Western English writing is that they try to do too much therapy speak in an attempt to overcorrect and make their characters feel more human. And when they do that, they actually ironically make them feel less human, right? That's what I think, at the very least. I feel like the most human-feeling characters out there are the ones where the attempt wasn't to force realism, but to force a narrative arc, a story. Because you want to follow someone on an adventure. You want to follow them on their growth or lack thereof. They rate like HRs in the room at all times and just make a character that can be pitched in 2 sentences. Yeah. Human feeling characters don't feel like they're trying to teach you something inorganically. Yeah. Explaining too much and leaving nothing to retort. Oh my god. That is the biggest crime. There's always been like a rule in creation. Show, don't tell. Only tell when you've got nothing left. Or unless it's incredibly, it is so important to tell, right? The more that the people in the comic or the film or the book can figure, the characters themselves can figure out on their own without being info dumped, the better, right? Because the job of the audience is to follow along the journey of the character. So if the character doesn't go on a journey, they don't have to learn anything themselves. It just gets poured on them. In turn, that is also being poured on the audience. And that is the laziest, most gear-grinding method of telling a story. Because you're not telling a story at that point. You've skipped over the fun of the story. You've skipped over what good there could have been. What was the point? At that point, I could have just read, a Spark Notes. I could have, summoned the devil and talked to ChatGPT of all things and said, tell me what happens in this. And I would have got the exact same experience. I don't like ChatGPT. Could have read the Wikia. I don't like ChatGPT. Know thy enemy. Know thine enemy. I don't like ChatGPT because I understand how people can fall into pits where they get obsessed with something like it. Right? Its inception, its existence in the first place is an insult to everybody and all of humanity, all of human existence. But beyond just, the actual whining platitudes, as justified as they are, it atrophies a person's ability to critically think and come up with organic ideas. if they're constantly asking for help or opinions from, a glorified chatbot. You genuinely do become less of a person if you rely so heavily on it. I have used ChatGPT in testing scenarios infrequently. I don't use it to create content, but I have wanted to see firsthand, not just from other people's spoken experience, what it is like to use this technology. Why do people fall for it? And this kind of thing, you can program a personality for it. You can make it a buddy. And it can tell you everything you want to hear.
Is this true?
Grok, is this true? I hate Grok. And I think it's so insidious. It is the ultimate yes man machine for people who are only looking for easy way out. It also does image generation. I haven't touched the image generation because that feels like a bridge too far. That feels too filthy. But what kind of sad existence is it? Where you have to outsource thinking, outsource decisions, outsource conversations, outsource emails to something that doesn't actually care. Something that doesn't have a stake in the race, so to speak. Like, I have people bragging to me that they outsourced things.
PPL forget man, Katya is an encyclopedic household.
I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. I don't know. Call me old-fashioned, but people used to exist without cell phones for all of humanity. And a lot of times they were fine. Most of the time they were fine. Well, I mean, they had other issues, but like, you didn't need to be tethered to something that tracked your location 24/7. You didn't have to fear being lost. Maybe that could be tied to like the socioeconomic positions of when and where you were in history, but the insane paranoia, the need to be tethered at all times is also kind of absurd. And I feel like the emotional connection that people have to chatbots and to AI in general, the over-reliance, is a bit devastating, you know? The place I work at, we had 3 juniors. I was the mentor. I explained to 3 of them to not rely on ChatGPT. Well, only 1 listened to me and kept the job. The other 2 were unable to perform. Again, it's atrophy. You
just hire a secretary and be socially distant in the societally polite way to do so.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, I like technology. I like the evolution of technology. I like the application of modern technology. And I do think there is a place, actually, quite genuinely, a use case for artificial intelligence. But it was released to the masses irresponsibly. Too soon. Too light-handed. And we're already seeing disastrous results. We're seeing teenagers Pavlov themselves with these robots into committing suicide. We're seeing timelines flooded with garbage, with misinformation, with generated videos of like cartoon characters going to Walmart and defecating on people. We're even seeing like government officials of multiple countries just posting garbage. Again, it's the same reason I dislike modern film writing, modern novellas, just the dumbing down of the core audience, the treating of society as lesser than, as non-intelligent individuals, and the expectation of lack of critical thinking skills. Critical thinking skills are why humans were able to rise to the top, you know? It's why they were able to develop mathematics, why they were able to develop complex building structures, why they were able to come up with philosophies and sciences. And you know, AI as a tool could further those studies, those researches, that exploration as to what it means to be human and to grow. But it isn't. Instead, we're being caught in a vicious feedback loop. And instead of becoming bigger, stronger creatures, we're actually shriveling up. We're regressing. Not to like fearmonger, but if I ever adopt kids into the casino, like, they are not touching that technology until they're at least a teenager. Quite genuinely. They need to go through their key core development phases. They need to be able to learn how to read, to write, to solve basic problems. Like, not just math problems, but like, they're stuck outside and they need to build a shelter out of sticks. They can figure it out on their own. Right? They can just creative, you know? Just, I don't know. I black pill a bit when I look at technology and its misuse. And the little demon inside of me goes, well, of course it was going to be this way. Right? This was the intention all along. Build or freeze, child! Yeah, that's how you survive in the casino. Way things are going, you may not have that choice. I mean, in Chiron, it's fine, you know? We're not so technologically, you know, absurdist. The Zeitonites are, you know, a little bit more reliant, but they went about their technological developments a little bit smarter. You guys on Earth, though, you guys are up the creek without a paddle. Yes. Australia is doing a social media ban on anyone under 16. You might be onto something. I've heard people argue, well, kids are gonna find their way on anyway. They're just gonna break through. They're gonna hack. They're gonna, you know, problem solve their way to the internet. I would argue those are the only kids that should be allowed. Like, I'm not saying that they should be allowed, but like, if a child is smart enough, like a teenager is smart enough to use their critical thinking skills to creatively break their way onto the internet, then I say they kind of earned their position. You know? Like, that's the kind of energy that you need. That's raw intelligence. And those that can't actually break that barrier don't deserve to have access. Now, if the kid is caught, then they should absolutely get a little slap on the wrist. But they shouldn't get, like, a huge punishment. Because I think that intelligence should be rewarded. Yes, the bright bulbs that cracked the system get a pass. Modern internet was kind of a mistake. That's why old internet, I feel like, was so successful, because it was a lot harder to navigate. It took a little bit more ingenuity and creativity, and as well, it wasn't just like 4 websites that were recycling the same slop. It was a billion different places to be at all times, and so it was a genuine exploration, you know? You had to have a bit of intelligence. The access was incredibly limited and irritating. No, I wouldn't say that the internet's been healthy, period, but I'd say that old internet was a more genuine place to be. Laws against murder don't stop murder, so why try? Well, here's the thing. You see, laws against murder never stopped me. Isn't that right? Isn't that right, Mambo? It naturally gatekept itself. And then it comes back to gatekeeping. Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of us were raised in an ambient like that. Do not PS2 until 2 p.m. or something. Find ways to play PS2 more. Use dad's PC. Secretly play flash games. Yeah. Yeah, no. Sneaking to the internet? Again, creative ingenuity, finding ways to get access, unironically, was more of a skill builder for kids. I genuinely think that's the case. Put a goal, like a hard to achieve but possible goal, in front of a child, and they work their way towards it and they get there. That is a very good thing. I think banning with, light punishment, but properly trying to ban children from using the internet under 16 is probably the best thing possible. And that used to kind of be, the mindset of adults organically and naturally, early internet. And that mindset dissolved as those children grew up and became the new parents. So at this point, to replace that disappeared mindset, if a government has to step in, it's awful, but that may be the final, the last possible way to gatekeep things. I don't think it's going to work, honestly. It can't work. It's too little too late. There's no way it can work. It would be nice if it worked, but it won't work. A lot of those kids that grew up on the internet are the first ones to say children should be banned from the internet. Oh yeah. I've seen way too much heinous shit. Heinous garbage. What do you think about laws that specify 12 years of age as the low end to use the internet unassisted? I still think 12 is too young. I'm going to be entirely honest. 12-year-olds would be upset if they didn't get to use the internet. I still think 12 is too young. "16 is almost too young." At 16, you can start, in many countries, you can start making actual legal decisions for yourself autonomously. I think 16 is the perfect age. 16 is young, and I really don't want to have to be exposed to the opinions of a stupid 16-year-old. I'd rather be waterboarded. However, I think on the low end, that is perfectly reasonable. If they can make, decisions legally about drinking in some countries, smoking, tattoos, whatnot, I think the internet is perfectly reasonable to add to that list.
The fact that I am at risk of seeing a 14-year-old's opinion on the internet is a hate crime.
Oh, don't I know it! Some of the worst takes I've ever seen are from 14-year-olds. What about internet-based services to assist parent-child communication, Google Maps, and so on? That's the thing. That's why I think that it won't work. Because of things like that. How do you enforce that? How do you enforce some internet things and not others? You would need genuinely CCP levels of surveillance at all times to be able to do that, and most places do not have the infrastructure to hold that. Chinese internet works because Chinese internet was built differently at the same time. It's not the same internet. It can access other places with VPNs, but ultimately, systematically from day one, it was built to be different. We don't have that level yet of censorship online, despite everyone's efforts. CCP doesn't work. Oh, it doesn't matter if it works or not. What matters is that it's there. It's an example. We blocked adult content once upon a time by demanding credit cards. Yeah, why did places stop doing that? South Korea is creating dental strips capable of regrowing teeth. I can already see that stuff costing hundreds of thousands of dollars if it gets to the US. I saw some stuff in Japan as well. Not dental strips, but injections. Injections in the molars. In the jaw. Where they regrow bones. And they've successfully, grown whole, chunks of a skull. I don't know, man. Japan supremacy all the way. You want a strong female character? Look at the CEO of Japan. She is terrifying. Popped in to say hi to y'all before I get back to work. Enjoy stream. Will do, Ratchet. That'll be fun. Huge risk of bone, teeth cancer. Imagine new bone spurs growing out of your face. Is this how we get Oni women? Is this how we get women with horns? Because if so, I'm all for it. Japan creating anime women purely out of, dental accidents. I, for one, am here for it. I would like to have a big horn growing out of my skull. Can you imagine? Somebody bothers you in a line, you could just mow them down like a rhinoceros. Oni women are like orc women. No thanks. Are you kidding me? Have you seen... I don't know if you watched my karaoke stream, but there was a lovely Oni that came on, and she is the cutest Oni I've ever seen. Oops, turned your skin into bones. Oops, all bones. Oops, all bones. Please send help. I work for the post office. Oh, you poor soul. You poor soul. Can we get somebody to put him out of his misery? Is Japan destined to disappear due to current issues, birth, quakes, etc.? Genuine question. I think any and all places are capable of bouncing back. It is entirely possible. However difficult it may be. The one in the Oni. Yeah! Dude, the best Oni in the business is Ava Avanova. I've seen her around. She's that teal one. I think Japan is going through some supreme hardship right now, and they have been for the last while. And they are capable of bouncing back. But it will take some incredible social programming, some incredible incentives, and the revitalizing of the hope of the common people. I think a lot of the people have lost the desire to procreate and have lost the ability to because the economy is down, the cost of living is up, and they just don't feel like they have value or worth anymore. They don't want to bring children into the world. They don't want to raise them. Everybody is very self-focused and selfish. They are the main character of their own lives, and their lives don't want to include others into it. Right? I think there needs to be a cultural mindset, cultural mindset shift that needs to happen. And there has actually been, some pseudo-successful attempts. But for every successful attempt that Japan is putting into place these days, they do something that immediately negates every benefit that they had. Then there are the antinatalists. Oh, man. I would say, allowing tourism to be so hardcore in Japan is probably one of the reasons they're having so many modern issues. I won't go into it, though. I'll go into it a little bit. Infected mindsets, so to speak. It's less about, we shouldn't allow dirty foreigners into our country. No, that's just a Nakota versus Chiron thing. No, it's more about the foreigners have a lot of cultural expectations that they bring from their own places, and they leave behind dissonance and try to force their own cultural sensibilities upon the Japanese. And I think for a while, the Japanese were doing very well to withhold their cultural identity. But as of late, they've actually started to be in their worst decline once they started accepting a lot of specifically American sensibilities. The more westernized Japan has become, the worse their economy has become, the lower their birth rate. Now, I'm not going to claim to be a professional. I'm not going to claim to understand exactly how all of this works, because it's a complex, multifaceted issue. But that is my opinion.
Knife fear Japan, oh baby.
I don't even know what you were trying to say there. I disagree so hard, my dearest. I'd be fascinated to know your personal opinion, Auntie Haunty. Liberal experiment is a failure. No such thing as a social contract society. I would disagree. However, I don't have prepared talking points to disagree with, but I do want to say that I disagree. Social contractor societies do not exist. They exist, but the fail-success rate entirely depends on when and where they are in history. I thought low birth rates were due to work culture with immigration as a measure they took to try and bring in new life. Oh yeah, no, like that was like the initial, like that is what started their downward spiral, and it continues to go downward because of their work culture. But in their attempt to try and revitalize, bring in new blood, and bring people up, they've actually further incentivized their native population to procreate even less.
If you are pres of JP, how would you improve JP?
I wouldn't even try. Like, that's not even a thought experiment I want to scratch. It wouldn't be responsible for me to, because I just do not know enough about their current socioeconomic state. All I know is what I see online. That is an irresponsible thought experiment to have for me. I would rather spend my time owning a casino than trying to run a country. You know what? No. My first day in office as the president of Japan is that everybody gets a state-mandated whore. Man, woman, it doesn't matter. They get a mandated whore. Now, who is picked as a whore? I hand select whores out of the crowd. I get to decide once eligible people turn 18 in Japan, they get selected as a whore, and then I assign them to 10 different people. If they're a woman, they only get assigned to one person, mostly because the plan is to get them pregnant. But if they're a man, they get assigned to 10 people. That's my plan as the president of Japan. Do whores get whores? Of course. Everybody gets it on schedule. Like you go to your local prefecture and you go to the big signboard, like just in the middle of the street, and it has the whore of the day. Kind of like how restaurants have meal of the week, there's a whore of the day. You know what? Why stop at Japan? Implement that in England as well. And the Middle East. And Russia. And America. And Canada. And Mexico. Sex for everybody. This is stupid. This is stupid. Yeah, Jacob's sick. Nah. You know, I make that joke, but there's a manga where that's actually A plot line? The Middle East already does that, Katya. They don't need more.
Katya for Supreme Earth Leader.
No, I don't think I have the emotional bandwidth to be the ruler of all of Earth. I would rather be comfortable being an Earth fangirl. What's funny about the whole topic on sex and shame around is that apparently it's been used as a tool to control population. God, can't even beat a game of XCOM, let alone rule Earth. Look, I'm too busy owning a casino, okay? I'm being a strong, independent businesswoman right now. I don't have time for politics. Nah. In general, sex and procreation just isn't my wheelhouse. I don't have any experience nor desire for the experience of it at this point in my life.
We are getting assigned to a breeding farm, boys. Let's go. Katya for Earth's Supreme Dictator.
All eligible men of breeding age into the barn. Now, you're getting put in shackles. That's a sentence. That's a horrible thing. You see, this is why I shoot clippers, so that they don't get that, so that those sentences don't survive. Cost, you put that shocked face away. I said eligible. Straight to blue sky. Now, there's a lot of material like that on DA. Have you ever read about the European Slave Federation? There's a story about an American woman being a volunteer slave. Sorry, no, I don't read pornography. I don't watch pornography. I don't listen to pornography. I am not a pornography connoisseur nor enjoyer. Now, Memoria, on the other hand. Handmaid's Tale for dudes. Handmaid's Tale, the bro code story. You know, if I literally said the opposite, if I said, eligible women, get into the barn, that would be like a horror novel. But if I said, eligible men, get into the barn, that's like 100 guys, like 100,000 guys, fetish and fantasy. It's fascinating, the difference between the sexes. The Handmaster Saga. So what we're saying is that we need to convince Memoria to teach you the way. Nope. No, I feel like I have better ways to spend my time than indulging in degeneracy. I mean, if it's a woman saying get into the barn, I promise you there's a small army of women drooling at the thought. Haunty, we're trying to increase the population. Guess you don't do much reading in that library then. No, I'm specifically looking for blackmail when I go to Memoria's library. I'm not looking for entertainment. If I want entertainment, I have rats that I can make dance. I have a gun for entertainment, okay? I was really confused because chat started saying black male question mark, and I'm like, blackmail, like blackmail material. Do you read horny? No. I don't want to waste my life. Freudian slip on part of chat. You know what? You guys just hear what you want to hear, you sick freaks. You sycophantic sickos. You debaucherous douchebags. Only the classiest of books. No, I like classic literature. I like horror. And you know what? There is a market out there for sex-based novella. I'm just not that market. You guys can enjoy all of the sex books you want. I'm busy getting money! Maybe your original plan for Japan has more merit than expected. That's crazy. Backshots? No, I prefer backstabs. You get it! You get it. You get me. We talking Edgar Allan Poe, Lovecraft, Stephen King? I'm more of an Edgar Allan Poe kind of person. I don't like Stephen King. And Lovecraft is good in doses. Sorry, I'm not ever gonna get behind Stephen King. There was a time in my life where I was reading Stephen King and I was for it, but maturing and becoming a fully grown adult is to acknowledge that Stephen King novels suck. Classic literature is a fun game of spot the writer's fetish. Much more fun than the modern version. They were way better at disguising it with flowery language. Entirely. I would like to play Where's Waldo with the fetish instead of being beat over a stick with it. Beat with a stick. Beating stick. Speaking of, Beavis, where are you? Katya is basically better than 50% of all leaders in Africa. All the resources in the world, but leadership makes them not as advanced as they could be. I don't know, man. Did you see that new elected official in Africa? I can't believe we're really having a reincarnation arc. Right here, Lady Katya. Beavis! Can you dig through my stack of information and find the name of the African country that just elected a very funny name leader? Namibia! Yes, it was Namibia! Guys, I want you to Google who the leader of Namibia is right now. I've been watching that election and I've been laughing the whole time. Bro, the fact he's even growing in the mustache is crazy work. We've got like the ultimate LARPer there. You know what? We're cutting off the joke here. We don't want to indulge in this kind of mindset, chat, okay? Too much trouble. More trouble than it's worth. It is very fucking funny, though. Very, very funny, though. Stopping swearing is going to be so much harder than I thought. Mr. Unona. Yes. Trevor Noah did a joke about that name a long time ago. Apparently, so few people in Africa know anything about World War II. They just think the gay guy was a strong leader, so they named kids after him. I mean, I guess it's the same, mindset behind naming kids Muhammad or Jesus or whatnot. Historical for historical's sake. Hi, boss. Feeling better today? I'm feeling so much better. You would not believe how my stomach was twisting 2 days ago. Like, I was in physical pain, and I was gonna vomit, and I did, and it was gross. I'm better now, though. I will say he got reelected. He already had the position. Ah! My goodness gracious. Term 2. Wait, did you misread Guy? Shut up, Giovio! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Saw our tax returns, Lamau. What do you think about all this, Mambo? Yeah, me too. To be fair, guy is a hard word to read. Oh, quit making fun of me, okay? I'm not the sharpest cookie in the box. But I'm doing my best. If I name my kid a strong name, should I name them Katya? Oh, indubitably. Yes, because I am nothing if not sturdy. I am nothing if not strong. Your child will be the supreme ruler wherever they go. Sharpest cookie? Why are you sharpening your cookies? Look. Idioms are meant to be mixed. They're meant to be spliced, okay? It's the spice of life. Naming my kids Pennyworth? Oh, that's a low blow. Why would you name your kid after, like, a schmuck like that? Like, come on now. Would you really think that it's worth, wasting a perfectly good naming opportunity on a schmuck like this? He doesn't deserve that honor. Name your kid after me. Don't name it after this bozo. Get better taste. Gonna name my kid Sableton? Good, good. As you should. Mixing of idioms is called a malaphor. My favorite is we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. That's a great one. I feel like I've used that before, but I can't recall. Wonder where that kid named Dovahkiin went. He's still somewhere stuck in South Park. Name my first son Prometheus. I know somebody that named their kid Beowulf. Quite genuinely. Name my Mambo. You know what, you guys, I feel like you guys come to the stream for the side characters more than me. And it's starting to weigh on my ego. It's starting to hurt. I feel wounded. I might have to do a mass culling. Cthulhu Allspark 1. I'll name my child Ricardo. Everybody's a comedian. I wonder if Russians still name their kids Stalin. Next time I'm swinging by Earth, I'll take a look. I'm gonna name my daughter Sable, then copyright it and sue. Oh, you mean like how Beyonce named her kid Blue Ivy and then copyrighted that? And she'll sue anybody that tries to name their kid Blue Ivy? That bothers me.
Bring back Pennyworth.
But his battery is dead. Like, his external battery is dead. You're not getting anything of value out of him. He can't talk right now. Well, he's talking to me at all times. But, like, he just called you a slur. Yeah. I know you can't hear it, but trust me. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. He called you a slur. You quit bothering him. He's getting his beauty sleep. Are you sure you're not schizophrenic? Well, no, watch the previous VOD, the one before the karaoke. I'm not schizophrenic. There's proof. Even if I was schizophrenic, there's proof that I'm not in this instance.
Mambo is the MC though, you're just the dandelion to his Geralt.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks! There was a time the UK government tried to make a kid get renamed because they couldn't print Skywalker on their ID because it was copyrighted. Oh. No, we're truly in, we truly live in interesting times. And that is not a good thing. I think the trade-off between technological advancement and human decency was never going to be worth it. We live in a society. You know what Pokemon I have, Batman? I have a Lopunny. Batman, there's no laws against Pokemon, Batman. It's a Lopunny, Batman. You see, Batman, I'm gonna take this Pokemon, and I'm gonna... It's a dystopia without the cool dystopia technology. Oh no, we're getting the cool dystopia technology. We're just not getting the cool dystopia, like, backlighting. Like, we don't get, like, the environmental, setup. We just get everything else. We get the crap. There are no laws against Batman, against Batman. Against Pokemon. I'm the Joker, baby. A boring dystopia, right? At least Zeiton is cool. You want to know how I got these scars? My father was a drinker and a fiend. And one night, he went off crazier than usual. We live in a caveman dystopia. Why can't it be 2077 already? I'm still mourning my loss of the Back to the Future utopia. Big fan of Heath Ledger's joke. Yes, I like Heath Ledger's Joker. Can you tell that I just came out of sickness? I don't know if you can tell, but I feel like I'm rebooting my system every 5 minutes. Aren't you always like that? Fuck you, Necro. Necro doesn't have any rights. Not in this chat. Clippers don't get opinions. Clippers don't get rights. You're a Clipper, you get the chipper. Clippers get muted. Clip, 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 get muted, get muted, get muted, get muted. Finally glad I'm not a Clipper anymore. Yeah, you're on thin ice, Haunty. Whenever I see you, my trigger finger starts to shake. You know, I was just like... Get supported, Bozo. No! Don't support me! God! You see, this was my devious scheme all along. You see, I wanted the support, but I can't say that. Nah. What's a Clipper? I don't know. You tell me. Clipper? I don't even know her.
When Katya can't win an argument, write pointing finger emoji, collision emoji.
I take great offense to that. I win arguments all the time. And you know what my method of winning is? My method is at the end of a barrel, okay? That's not me lazily trying to get my way out of an argument. That in of itself is a punctuation. A gunshot is a full sentence. And I take offense to the implication of otherwise.
Hang that Clipper now. I got the rope right here.
I'm not wasting perfectly good rope on a Clipper. We need those for the breeding farms. No, that joke's dead. I'm not going to keep it going. A gunshot is a full sentence. Yeah, exactly. A gunshot is a full sentence. Nice argument, Perry. This is filthy casual. Do Clippers go to the breeding farms? Clippers don't. Clippers aren't eligible to go to the breeding farms. That's the start and the end of the sentence. Are you taking applications for those for Clippers? Well, I'm shocked that you want to die, Proc. But I mean, if you insist. If you insist, you know. I can kill you. I think I can arrange that. I think I can arrange that. I don't know. Sorry. I'm making up for lost gunshots. During the karaoke, I wasn't able to shoot anybody. I was too locked into the Christmas spirit. So I'm kind of catching up, you know? Oh, welcome back, Necro. How was your how was your gunshot time out in the corner? Locked in. Yeah, I was locked in. I was feeling Christmas cheer. What's interesting to me, I want to know, okay, are the slots in the cylinder just for aesthetics? Okay, so Pennyworth here, I'll give you a good close look. For those who are uninitiated, Pennyworth here is sentient. Pennyworth is alive. And the slots dictate the kind of bullet that he shoots out. He is capable of shooting regular bullets. He shoots water. He shoots DNA protein spikes that turn you into a rat. He does all sorts of things. Currently right now, he's doing nothing. He's just chilling. Karaoke was nice, but I was disappointed we didn't hear the European version of Ding Fries Are Done you like to talk about. The hell is Ding Fries Are Done? Also, I thought Pennyworth was supposed to reference Alfred penny's worth. He chose his own name. You see, I didn't name him. He kind of... I own him. He's my slave. Before he was mine, he belonged to my father, and my father, I guess, named him. I don't know if my father named him exactly. I don't know if he was born with the name or if my father named him. I'm gonna be entirely real. All I know is that he came from Weaponfall. Whoa, slaves in big 2025? I mean, it's 2025 on Earth, but, like, we've got a different calendar here in Varys. It's not 2025 there. I mean, here, you know, just... You see, in Chiron, it's the Imperial year of... Oh, did I misfire? Pennyworth, what are you doing down there? You know that you're supposed to wait till I hold you. Anyway, in Chiron, it's the Imperial year of... So keep that in mind, okay? It's only 2025 on Earth. Shame we didn't get Ukrainian Christmas caroling? Well, I'm not gonna sing Ukrainian because I'm a Chironite. Negligent discharge. That's another name for accidental pregnancy. Yeah. Over the Christmas season, we don't celebrate Christmas in Chiron, but I'm trying to make it a thing. So December is going to be very, very, very busy for me. I'm going to try and at least have 3 streams a week consistently in December, but the closer we get to the Christmas time frame, the crazier it's going to get for me. I have like convention meet and greets I'm doing. I've got events that I'm participating in. And in general, my schedule is going to be tight. I'm going to have less time. So typically when I'm on 100%, you guys can expect 4 streams from me, but expect 3 streams. 3 streams a week. At the very least, on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday. Sunday, Wednesday, and Saturday, all bets are off. Well, we have a live New Year's stream. I don't see why not. I'd have to look into it. If I was doing a New Year's stream, I'd want to do it with the other members of Equilibrium. And I have to see if we can gather everybody in one spot. So, we'll see. Oh yeah, hope to see you at the Matsuri meet and greet. Yeah. Holiday Matsuri, yeah. Is it Matsuri? I think it's Matsuri. My accentation is to be desired. Inferiority complex in the workplace? I actually consider it quite simple. Alright, get out of here, you bozo. Matsuri. Stretch. Why are all the meet and greets in America or Canada? Why can't they be in Sydney? Well, I mean, there is one VTuber anime convention in Australia. I just don't think it's in Sydney. I think it's in Adelaide? I'm not sure. Let's Katya streams! Yes, but they're of more substantive quality. Hmm? As well, if I was doing a New Year's stream, I think I'd have to... We'd have to figure out, like, what we consider to be the Midnight New Year. Because I feel like there's a billion different time zones. 1. Peter! Peter, the horse is here! Hiya, boss. Hiya, Thorn. Last year, a VTuber got killed by a boomerang at the Sydney meet and greet. No, that's not real. That's not real. VTuber dead boomerang meet and greet. I don't see anything about that online. I'm joking, but I got baited! I got baited! I hate you! You taking advantage of my kind and trusting nature? You see, I'm a great businesswoman because I put trust in my business partners. I can't believe you would take advantage of my kind and trusting nature! I hate you. That's it. All bets are off. I've decided I'm ending stream, but I'm ending stream by killing every single viewer. How many are you here? Almost 300 of you. Lol. But wait, I just got here. No, you're dead. All of you are dead. Pick up your respawn cards. Don't pass go. Oh wait, I actually gotta find somebody to raid into. Hold on. I'll see you on Monday. Actually, wait, no, what day is it today? Today's Friday? I'll see you on Saturday. You see, I scheduled a stream for Saturday, so I will see you tomorrow.